Hi everybody. I have a what sold video for you today, and this is going to be the items that we sold across our three online platforms from the days of August 15th until August 21st. We're going to start on eBay. On eBay, we sold these Carol vintage embroidered pajamas. I had just listed these, I think, on here. I just cross-posted them a couple days ago. They sold within a few days, and they sold for $35. Next was this really cute J. Crew dress. I think this is the thing that one of the items I had gotten from our wholesaler back when we were getting some wholesale items. And so the average cost of goods was like $4.70, I think, after tax and shipping. And this sold for $20. Next was a new with tags pair of day trip jeans. I got these from Goodwill. So after tax, 448, and they sold for $35. A Talbot's sweater, and it's funny, you can actually see down here that there are several of these that are available. That's why I don't really try selling too much of Talbot's. My mom is a big Talbot's person, so a lot of these things just came from her. And this sold for $12. Actually, I think it might have sold for even less. Let me check and see. I think it sold for like $10. I don't know, I have so much Talbot stuff listed. All right. It sold for like, I think it was like 10 something maybe. Then we have, I know I profited like just a few bucks off of it. This was a Marvel costume, and luckily I was able to get a stock photo because the photos that I was taking of it were not doing it justice. And it did come with a wig and headband, which was really cool. And the wig was actually brand new, which I think helped sell it as well. And this sold for $20. Next was a pair of George cargo shorts, which is just a Walmart brand, and we got them from the bin at Goodwill, which means we paid $2.13 after tax, and they sold for $9.60. This was an item that we got from the church sale that we went to a few months back. So we paid 50 cents for it and it sold for $10. And lastly, a Talbot's top, another item that came from my mom, and it sold for $25. Our total profit on eBay was $102.91. No sales on Mercari, so we'll go over to Poshmark. On Poshmark, we sold these Ralph Lauren trouser pants, and they were plus size 16W and new with tags. So they sold for $36. Next were these Cobby Cuddlers sandals. They were leather and 8.5 wide. I thought they'd do really well since they were brand new. They didn't have tags, but you could tell they were unworn. They were brand new. They were leather, and they were a decent size, is an 8.5, and they were a wide. But I'm telling you, I'm so done with shoes, you guys. I finally listed some like new in box Converses I have, but I'm so over shoes. Shoes are like the slowest seller for us. I think I was sitting on these for at least probably a year, at least. So yeah, they sold for 20, but still the profit is just not worth sitting on them for that long. Then this Talbot's top, this was something that my mom gave me to sell and it sold for $22. A Barbie, we actually lost some money on this. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it didn't sell for much. Sold for $11, and by the time fees got taken out of it, I lost like $2 and about 50 cents on it. Ever Eve. I was gonna say, so not necessarily in this case, but so for a lot of toys, we've been finding that Facebook Marketplace is actually a lot better for sales. We've been selling a lot of toys that we either got for like as gifts for our boys, or we might have picked up on clearance and didn't use, or that like family would just give to us when they saw us. We've been listing a lot of those for like $5 to $10 range and have done pretty well on that. So I would suggest for some toys to just do that because by the time you list it, sit on it, on these platforms, a lot of times you aren't going to be getting, you're either cutting like even, breaking even, or you're losing money like we did here. A pair of Ever Eve high-rise jeans sold for 24. This was a bundle. I'm not going to worry about opening it because like how I said before, Poshmark makes it open. It doesn't just open in a new tab. It'll completely mess with all this, but it was a Chico's, like the Travelers slinky kind of tops. And then the jean, it came with, or the person also bought some jeans, and they were Judy blue, and they were like a front seam, little split at the bottom jeans in like a 14W. And so those both sold for a 40. I was really excited about this. This was a Vera Bradley Weekender bag my mom gave me as a gift a couple years ago, and I never used it. So still have the tags on it, and it sold for $58. You'll see we had a lot of sales on Poshmark this week, and that was because we were running the birthday sale for my husband's birthday, and we did it for on eBay, we had like a 30%, 20 and 30% off sale, I think. And then here on Poshmark, we did the waterfall sale. So 10, 20, and 30%. And I do have a video on how we run the waterfall sale if you guys want to watch that. Next was this Belle, I think, Polk dress that I had gotten from like years ago from Clothes Mentor, which is like the women's version of Plato's Closet, and I never wore it, so still new with tags, and it sold for $24. Some Walmart brand overalls, got these from Goodwill, paid $5.55. This wasn't much profit. They just sold for $11. My mom gave me this Kate Spade clutch, pretty cute, and it sold for 35. It had a lot of interest on it. I think I had originally priced it at like 50 maybe, and so this was after a lot of like sales, markdowns, and whatever. It sold for 35. A new with tags midi skirt from Talbot's, or excuse me, from Torrid, sold for 24. You see that that was a common price because I guess everything was $30 and then 20% off ended up making it 24. So you'll see the number 24 like here, here, and these items. So a lot of items were selling for that $24 when they went 20% off. Then a Hell Bunny dress. I've had this since college. I got it from this website called Gwynnie B, which used to be like kind of a clothing rental company. Think of it like, do you remember how Blockbuster used to, Netflix used to send DVDs in the mail, and you would put all the DVDs or all the movies you wanted to watch in like a queue, and then they would just send you movies, and then when you would send them back, then you would get more sent to you. That's basically what this was, and they kind of specialized in plus size. So it was really fun. And then if you really liked the item that you were renting for that like week, you could buy it for a reduced price. And so that's what I got this from. And I'm sure I didn't pay that much for it probably, but again, I got this back in college, which was a while ago. And so I'm just glad that it sold for $24. It was pretty good. New with tags, Talbot's cropped pants sold for 24. A Chico's tank that my mom gave me to sell sold for 15. And lastly, a vintage Champion men's t-shirt sold on an offer for $11, which brought our total profit for Poshmark to $242.64. And if that sounds insane, it is insane. We've not made that much on Poshmark since back in January. So I was so psyched when I just did the math before this video. And that brings our total profit for last week, the third week of August, to $345.55. Isn't that crazy? I'm so happy. I'm just hoping that means that summer slowdown is over. I know I keep saying that, but so far every week in August has just steadily increased. So I need to get some more items photographed. I don't know if I'll get to it today. We have my son's birthday party tomorrow, so I may not do it then either, but hopefully on Sunday. I've been doing really good about scheduling all my listings and getting something posted like pretty much every day across all the platforms. And I did just pick up on Wednesday our money from the consignment store. We had like $99 and some cents, so almost $100. I did transfer some of that into some clothing, which you'll see behind me from the consignment store, because I went in and they said, we're also doing 25% off the whole store. I was like, oh, okay, so I have to spend money now. All right. And I sourced some items. But I'll show those in the next what I'm going to list haul video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this what sold video, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.